All right, so multiplayer, two-player in the shadows. After I've
One very ignorant player and one
yes, I
solo experienced player.
yeah. So there may be a few places here where we're still diving for the rules here. But just before we start,
Maybe.
just for anybody who's coming from the solo videos, probably the biggest differences in the two games. One, obviously, there's a live person playing the occupation forces, but the other one is that I will end up driving. I'm sort of, as the Germans, my goal is to drive this track from 1 to 7, and I do that by kind of moving this down the board, and so that's going to be one of my focuses, which is not a thing that happens at all in the single player game.
It feels like carriages and Jest of Robin Hood to me.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I'm trying to. I mean, I think it is actually represents the forced deportation of labor. Yeah. So it's a little more disgusting than the sheriff in the Just of Robin.
Just a little bit of loot.
Yeah, exactly. He's stealing from people. Here we're stealing people. Okay, on that cheery note. All right.
But the good news is that can never happen again.
Oh my God. Okay, let's move on.
Yes, I went there.
Yeah. All right. So basically, no.
You can edit that out.
No, we'll leave it. We'll leave it. So basically, each of us is going to draw 2 cards from the event deck. So that's how this starts.
And it's been shuffled. All right.
Both decks have been shuffled. And then we each have to decide which one we're going to play.
Alrighty.
Oh wow! Look at that. We saw these in our first, as our first teach, but okay. So you're playing.
Yeah, but I had the butcher.
Yes, you had. Yeah, and I had this one. In fact, they were reversed. All right, so you get to decide
choose first, right?
Yeah, you get to decide who goes first. Yep.
You go.
All right. Well, first I play the event, so I get to, after wondering forever what was up with the Butcher of Lyon in the solitaire game, I now realize that it's only multiplayer. So basically, I can flip it once per round to examine your held card, or ignore a drawn resolution card during an uncover action. So. And what we'll do here, let's do this. This will be our discard pile where he is, because this has to stick around for a little while. Oh, well, that one doesn't actually, but some cards have to stick around, but that'll become our discard pile. So I've got 4 action points. And I've got a wild card here. So.
And the wild card being the fact that it's German gray.
We've already screwed up completely. You need to pull 3 from here and place them on the board, and then place this guy on the board.
Well, I'm sure not putting him in Leon.
Well, no, it doesn't. He can do this anyway.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. I'm just kidding. All right, let's see.
Sorry about that. Completely forgot about that effect.
Are there any other setup things?
I'll double check that. I do not believe so, but I'll double check that while you're doing that. And then I'll come back, shuffle, place the authority, confiscated resources. That's good. That's good. Oh, yeah, there is one other thing. We know those are good because we checked them the other day. Okay, you're doing that right now. Mm-hmm. So just remember that the Maquis has to go in blue.
Got him.
Okay, and then the other thing is you get to decide where that goes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I kind of like that because that covert move one is, playing solo, that was my favorite. All right. So I think that I am going to spend 1 to move And I'll move that guy to there. And then I will, so that's one. By the way, I found playing solo, you have to be really diligent about this or you lose track really quickly.
I believe it.
Then I'm going to spend a second one to do an uncover action. In Dijon. So this is the resolution deck. So I got a success because I have my Melisse there.
Oh, okay. I see the, yeah.
Oh, you see what we're talking about there?
Yep. I see where it is.
Yeah,
Yep.
it would have failed if I'd only had, I didn't need to do that move to get it, but I did it anyway.
Yep, I see it. Yep.
So then I'm going to do an arrest action here and see if I can arrest that guy. And that costs 1, so this is my second to last one. So the arrest is a failure. Oh, now I'm trying to decide if I want to spend 1 to move this thing or if I want to try and arrest you again. I'm going to try and arrest you while I got the opportunity. And that will succeed.
Yep.
So that guy then moves into the disappear. He is disappeared. Perhaps to a prison in another country.
We'll get him back.
Actually, there is a card that will allow you to do that.
Okay, good.
All right, so I am then done. That is all of my action points. So you have 6. And, white is kind of the center point for you.
Yes, I hadn't really thought about that when I played that card.
Well, remember that movement doesn't actually cost, doesn't have a suit penalty. So one nice thing is it's not that hard to move units into
right
areas. But yeah, you get to play your card first, and you can place it anywhere. So you can place it in white.
All right.
So I don't know. It's an interesting commentary on how good human players are, perhaps versus the solo bot. That there's way more units on the board to start with in the 2-player game than there is in the solo game. I think the designer's insulting me as a human player, saying
that's funny. Now remind me that these guys are more. They're better in the blue, right?
So no. Well, okay, yeah. So the Maquis, 2 things. Well, 3 things. 1, it costs me more to arrest them.
Yep.
2, they're the one guy who can ambush my units, which will make my units. Yep. Blue guys will move. Black guys will move back. And the other thing is that if they are uncovered at the end of the turn in the blue area, you get to recover them, make them covert again.
Well, I see no reason not to attempt to sabotage.
Well, before you do that, one sort of thing to think about is if that succeeds, that's going to move there. So I would move I would do your moves first.
Yep.
So this Maquis, kind of if you want to move him into there, for example, to do some stuff. But yeah, if you don't want to have him succeed and then suddenly everything's more expensive to move.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to help with some of my hard-won knowledge from playing solo.
I do want to move him there. Not sure about putting that guy there anymore as opposed to having him adjacent to both blue and white, but live and learn.
Okay. Well, keep in mind, you wouldn't have known your cards when you did this. So,
true.
Yeah. So it's just you being
really
super
honest. I want to move anybody.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I mean, the only thing that I would think about is the Melisse tend to be a little bit tougher than the German units on you. Well, it's they're tougher when they're trying to arrest you, but they're better at uncovering you. They're not as good at arresting you. So actually, maybe that might not be a bad place to stay, just in case.
I think I'm just going to hang there.
Okay.
I'll do a Try a sabotage.
Okay, so that'll cost 1.
And that was M4.
M4, yep.
That failed. But I can move him,
Correct.
though I don't really need to continue to sabotage.
No, but the thing
Three
is
of
that
it.
you could move him here, and then that would open up the possibility of you sabotaging in one of those 2 locations with that red guy again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I've only got 3. I guess I got 4 left. But if I move them, I got 3, and I've got 3 sitting around anyway.
Okay, fair point.
Sabotage.
Fair point. Yeah, fair point.
So I think I'll do a sabotage an M3.
Okay. So that's good.
Successful and alert.
Nice.
And remind me what the unless that iron crossing zone means.
Wait, say that again. Oh, certain of these guys are informants.
So they're informants.
Yeah,
got it.
So until they're revealed as informants, they act as regular resistance cells. But once they're revealed as informants, they become like areas of the board that you really don't want to mess around in.
Yep. All right, so that was done. That was excuse me.
So you did a
Wow.
you did a move, and then you did 2 sabotages.
And then I did another one.
Yep.
So we'll down here in Lyon, we'll do a
right under the butcher's nose. So
Ooh.
he gets an alert marker.
And he gets uncovered.
So that's not bad though, because you can, you've got time to fix that, right? And this was not a bad time also because I don't have any units there, but if I did have units there,
Right.
it would have been cheap. But so this is one of the reasons, like doing that when you have some APs left allows you to recover from that, which
would be a move covert somewhere, right?
Well, you could either move covert or you could just flip him.
Hide.
Yeah, you could just hide him.
Got it. And then up here, we'll try a sabotage.
Okay. That will also succeed.
Which succeeds.
There you go. So then lower your authority.
And that.
So what that means is if the game were to end with that there, you need to have 7 resistance cells on the board.
Yep.
And I need to have the minimum occupation resources. I forget. I think
that's over here, right? You need to be in the 1.
Yeah, in order for it to. Oh, if I eliminate all your units from the board, I need to have a minimum of 1 occupation resource to win the game. I need to have it in the 1 space. So the more you drive this down, the more of these resources I have to get in order to meet my win condition.
Got it.
So.
And the way I get additional resources to put in my cells are from you driving that down.
It's from you, driving that down. Yep. Okay. So now we do the end phase. So if the confiscated resources marker is in Germany, it isn't. You can flip any uncovered Maquis in blue zones. If you have a Maquis unit available, you can place it in a blue zone, and then we would flip the Butcher of Lyon, and eventually you can flip Pearl Witherington, but none of that actually has to happen here. So that's it. That's the end of round 1.
That was quick.
So we moved to round 2. So now we each draw back up to 2 cards. Oh, that's okay.
I'm going to shuffle now that we've seen the bottom?
just shuffle it. Yeah, I didn't even really see what it was, but just in case. Yikes.
Your choice.
I will make you go first.
That's a pretty useless thing right there.
Yeah. That's one that...
May not have been the best time to play it.
That's okay. Let's live and learn, right? So white again. And you know that I'm kind of like, I everything outside of red costs me extra.
Right.
So hang on a second. Before you do that, that would
Yep.
actually cost 2 currently because you're up there. So
Even though it's white?
Yeah.
Because I'm moving covert.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. I get it.
So you could try to sabotage first to drive the roundel to there and then move.
I am gonna sabotage.
Okay.
So that's...
And you succeed. See, that's how it's done. Woohoo!
Yeah. Ow.
Now you can move him for 1. Plus, you got a sabotage on the board.
Lots of alerts.
Yeah, and remember, it cost me nothing to move in here because there's an alert marker there. So keep that in mind.
That's double, right?
What do you mean double?
He can't actually move there.
No, he can because it's so.
Well, because he's 1.
No. So covert costs 1, and there's no unmatched suit penalty for movement.
Oh.
You see that over there?
Got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So moving never costs extra, so you can move him wherever you want for 1.
However,
yeah,
move him here.
I like that. Because the thing is, you kind of want to, like the Maquis in the blue, if he gets uncovered on like my turn, he'll cover himself back up.
I think I'm going to try to sabotage.
Yeah, brilliant. Oh my goodness. Oh no, it's actually a failure.
Because he wasn't a...
Yep. But it doesn't place an alert marker, so that's good.
Yep. I think I'm going to do that.
Okay. All right. So now, actually, before you do that, you should look at the event that's coming up because you might want to think about that since he's your only Maquis unit on the board.
Yeah, that would make sense. So I think instead,
I mean, moving out of one of these areas with an alert.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Might make some sense. Because you can't sabotage in those areas anyway. You can't sabotage in areas with an alert marker.
All right.
I want to remind myself, alert markers get removed. I blew this a lot. Okay. When no units are in the zone. So this one won't get removed, or neither of these will get removed because there's still units there. All right, so that was your last one, right?
Yep.
So now you get to do this event. So you get to move a covert Maquis to an adjacent zone and then perform a free ambush. And you draw 2 resolution cards and keep the one you like.
I'm going to move down here.
Okay. So you're not going to like that card.
Don't like that one.
There you go. So you can put him in either of these 2 German zones. Cool. All right. So then I have 6 APs and I've got red. So I'm going to spend 0 to move this German unit in there, which is going to remove the alert marker. think I'm going to spend 0 to move this German unit in here as well, which will remove the alert marker. Oh, what am I doing?
Why do you want to remove the alert marker out of curiosity?
Uh, I don't want to remove the alert marker. I don't
Okay.
generally
I mean,
want
here
to.
I get because you got to move into where my unit is, but I was trying to figure
Yeah,
out.
no, that's why I took it back, is I suddenly looked up and you don't have a unit there. And I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to spend 1 to move this milice unit into the same zone as this guy. And then I'm going to attempt to uncover this guy. And that will be successful. So there's an informant.
Yep.
So he'll just stay on the board now and basically mean that this is just going to be a much more dangerous area for you to do anything in. All right. Then I'm going to, what am I going to do? You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 2 to move that one to that space. 1 to move it to that space because that's the same suit, and then 1 to move it to that space because it's a wild card. And I will drive this down 1 on the board.
Oh, well, that's a lesson learned. I probably should take the lowest level.
Yeah, I was actually going to say, why don't you do that? Because actually, I think that makes a lot more sense. So we can redo that one. I think that looking at it, it makes a ton of sense. All right, so now in the end phase, we actually have a couple of things to do. So this moves back to P1.
Mm-hmm.
And you are allowed to place that guy in the blue zone if you want to. Cool. And then we are on to round 3.
All righty.
Stop it! Just come in. Sit!
Mm.
All right,
Go for it.
your choice. All right. So I get to draw 2 cards from the event deck. I select 1 to keep and return the other to the event deck and reshuffle. So I'm going to do this real quickly, just in the interest of making sure.
Yep.
So that's the card that's already in my hand. Can't return that.
Yep.
So then I return this to the deck and shuffle. Four actions. And so one of the things that means I won't be drawing a card next turn.
Exactly. Yep.
So what do I want to do here? I've got a wild card. So that doesn't really make much sense to mess with this guy because he'll just flip up at the end of your turn. So I think I'm going to attempt. Let's see. I think I'm going to spend 1 to move that guy into wrong. And then I will attempt to uncover your unit there. And I will fail at that.
Just took you out.
One of my dogs is getting in lots of trouble.
Mm.
So now I'm trying to decide if I want to like push this track or keep trying to uncover this guy. I think I'm going to try to uncover again. So there we go. So that guy is uncovered now. And I think I'm going to attempt to arrest him, which will fail. Because I would have needed an informant.
Yep.
Oh, you know what? Oh, shoot.
I don't.
Well, let's... the first time when I failed to uncover you, I should have played the Butcher of Leon to draw another card. Live and learn. I forgot about him.
Yep.
All right, that's it. That's all of them. That would have given me another
Right,
shot
so
at arresting you.
I got 6.
Yeah. And white is kind of your area.
Well, the first thing I can move
Well,
my
actually, I'm
my
also
keys.
gonna remove this alert marker because it is
Yep.
now in a space with no units. Sorry, so we don't forget that.
So I can move them to adjacent zones.
Yep.
I'll move him there. All right, so I got 6.
You don't want to move this guy?
I don't think so.
Okay. No, it's fine. I just wanted to make sure.
I don't think I do. Maybe, yeah, I don't want to. So I'm going to actually have him attempt to. Let me think here. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is have that guy move.
Okay. That's good. Yeah. Well, it still costs 1. Yep.
Hmm. Let's see. There's move uncover, move covert, which is 2, which is the equivalent of moving them, flipping them, and moving them, right? Or do I have to uncover them? That's 1, and then I can move them.
Yeah. So move covert is you move a covert resistance unit.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So you'd have to. Well, but so hang on a second. Flipping him would cost you 3 because it also costs you the number of units. So you're going to want to move him uncovered, then flip him.
Got it. So better off that.
So that'll cost 1.
Yep. So down to 4.
And then it'll cost you 2 to.
It'll cost 2 to flip them.
2 to flip him. Well, yeah. Well, I just want to make sure you're moving down here. Only your yellow guys will sort of automatically recover.
Right.
Themselves.
Yeah.
So. I mean, the one thing to look at is that if you can get a successful sabotage, the rounder will move to the area where you get to hide guys and you don't have to count all these.
Yep.
So you could attempt to sabotage a couple of times and see if that helps.
Yep. So that was my second move. So I will attempt to sabotage up here.
Yep.
Will I? Yeah, I'll attempt to sabotage. You can only do an action once, but you can do more than one action, right? He can sabotage an ambush.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Sabotage succeeds.
Yep. It doesn't even create an alert marker. So that's good.
He's going to move here.
Wait. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, he can move there if you want him to, but we had talked.
Well, he might.
Well, if he is gonna, you probably want to move him first because now it'll cost you 2 to move him.
Yeah, so he's going to move. Then he's going to flip.
Okay.
So that's
Yep.
another one.
Yep.
I'm going to have this guy attempt to sabotage.
Hang on, before you do that, The one thing I
Yep.
would suggest, you like, this guy is a good guy maybe to go last, because if he ends up getting uncovered, he'll
Oh, he's going to automatically flip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if you want to use this guy or this guy, if they uncover, then you've got an AP left to fix it.
Yep, that makes sense. I think I'm going to, oops, shit.
Well, the good news
Did I-
is that's okay, because they all like that on that side.
They're all like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're all like that.
I'm going to have him attempt an ambush.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, I am.
Yep.
So that worked.
Yep. So send him back to one of the gray zones. That's good.
And then I think I'm going to recruit.
Okay. Oh, no, hang on. You got to draw a card for recruit.
Oh, thank you.
But
That seems harder.
Same result.
And is it in the white area?
So actually, you should have specified where you were doing it kind of before you did it. Sorry. You get to you would have to choose one of these areas with one of your units to do it in. Has to have one of your units.
Oh.
And actually, it should be in the white. Otherwise, it costs too much.
That's what I was just asking.
Yeah.
So that would be here.
Yeah, it kind of has to be in white. Otherwise, you don't have enough AP.
That's what I figured. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fine.
All right. So that is the end of round 3. Oh, so end phase. This doesn't move back. Nobody to no marquee to flip. No marquee to place. So that's basically it for round 3, right?
That's it.